aspect. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry. We have a color guard tonight. We have Girl Scouts from Girl Scout Junior Troop 13382. Their leaders are Beth McCoy and Pat Loria. We have Scouts Caitlin Loria, Charlotte Johnson, Erin Derry, Mary Kate McCoy, Michaela Knutson. So we are ready for the color guard.
Fallen. Forward march. Hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ready, two.
Color guard, retire the colors.
Forward march. Post colors. Fall out.
Thank you very much to the Girl Scouts of 13382 for presenting the colors at tonight's meeting. We appreciate you coming. You did a great job. Prior to the start of each council meeting, we allow an opportunity for citizens to address the council on issues related to city government prior to the start of each council meeting. Our council meetings are generally held the first and third Tuesdays of the month, and the open podium time is from 6:30 to approximately 6:55. If you're interested in addressing the council at that time, please call the city manager's office by noon of the meeting date, 949-8412, and let us know your name and your subject matter and your phone number, and we will put you on the agenda. If time allows and we have extra time after presentations, then we'll allow people to spontaneously stand up in the audience and address us on issues related to city government. These portions of the meeting are not recorded or televised, and if you have any questions, again, contact the city manager's office at 949-8412. Is there a motion for approval of the agenda and other items of business?
So moved.
Second.
Any additions?
Yes, Your Honor. 14A, reports of council members. I have the report on the workshop topic.
Okay, and I would like to add something
Forum
to. Thank you. I'd like to add something to reports of council members also.
And Mayor, I just want to mention one of the consent items related to the resolution on the consent agenda, Minnesota Internet Crimes Against Children, that the city attorney has made a minor revision to that resolution.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor of the agenda as amended?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the council workshop held on Tuesday, September 4th?
Move approval.
Second.
Any corrections to those? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the city council meeting held that same date?
Move approval.
Second.
Any items to correct on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there a motion for approval of the consent calendar?
Move to approval items A through J on the consent calendar.
Second.
Any items to pull for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Brings us to our first and only public hearing, a resolution vacating part of a drainage and utility easement. Mr. Getchell.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Our only public hearing tonight is the vacation of a drainage and utility easement. And this is a project that actually happened quite a while ago. The Bluff Highlands Second Edition is actually the C.H. Robinson campus. Uh-huh. So this somewhat relates to the building that we're in because the public hearing related to the vacation of the drainage and utility easement is due to some additional construction that will occur at the C.H. Robinson campus, and affects obviously our lease at City Center, as everyone knows. But there will be new drainage and utility easements that will be dedicated over a relocated storm sewer. So we have the public hearing that we need to conduct, and then a resolution vacating the drainage and utility easements in the Bluff Highlands second edition. And the public hearing was published in the August 30th edition of the Eden Prairie News and sent to 4 property owners.
Okay. Any questions? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience that wants to address the council on the vacation of this easement? You're not all here for that, huh?
Thank goodness for students from the high school tonight.
That's right.
Fills our room. I would move, seeing none, I would move to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution vacating a part of the drainage and utility easements lying over, under, and across Outlot A, Eden Bluff Highlands 2nd Edition, and Lot 2, Block 1, Eden Bluff Highlands 4th Edition, according to the recorded plats thereof, Hennepin County, Minnesota.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Payment of claims. Is there a motion for approval?
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please. Oh, wait, pardon me. Is there anybody that has any questions on the list? Okay.
No.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Aho?
Aye.
Councilmember Butcher-Wickstrom?
Aye.
Councilmember Case?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
Mayor Terlukens?
Aye. All right. That brings us to reports. Mr. Case, do you want to go first?
Sure. Thank you, Your Honor. So I wrote down the 5 points that came out of the meeting, and I think they piggyback on the forum report from the neighborhood. And I don't know that we necessarily need suggestions tonight, but again, to put it into the minutes, and also if anybody else wants to add, if I miss anything, or if they want to add details to the recommendation for maybe how we could address a couple of these. So the first issue that came up pretty big time was the sense that UHC is going...
Why don't you preface what you're talking about for
Thank
those
you.
at home?
Thank you.
Sorry.
So, no, that's great. Thank you so much. So a neighborhood group tonight came into our forum and shared concerns about the impacts on their community up by Bryant Lake of the new United Health Group project. And not necessarily in any way they were expressing against the project, but had issues on the impacts of the project in their neighborhood, particularly Cherokee Road as it connects to Roland, and some other concomitant issues that connected to their concerns of the project. So the 5, thank you, Councilmember Aho. So the 5 concerns that were brought up both tonight and at the meeting that I attended in the neighborhood last week. The first had to do with just the impacts of the UHG traffic on 62, which is beyond our jurisdiction and domain in a way, except that I think we do a fair amount of lobbying, and I think that's clearly the state has metro issues with traffic issues across the state, really, but particularly in the metro area. But that being said, if communities abutting some of the more serious ones, and Crosstown is a serious one, I mean, it does shut down. It's a parking lot at times around 4:30. And if indeed we are potentially adding whatever share of 6,700 cars you want to put onto Crosstown, it is an issue. And I think, I don't know if that's an extra lane someday, I don't know what it is, but it certainly is a concern that the neighborhood, it kind of ties into them not feeling that they were noticed, because had they been noticed, they felt they would have come and shared that issue. And I don't recall it coming up necessarily at the time that we approved that Crosstown itself is deeply impacted now and will be in the future. So it's a concern, and I just think it would be important for our engineering staff to have that in the back of their head as they make lists of lobbying efforts with the state. The second issue really ties closely to the neighborhood, and that's their Cherokee Road issues. And I think what I'd like to see parked in the minutes tonight is just the concerns that the neighborhood raised, that let's keep a close tab on this. So if, after these phases come in, if Cherokee is a cut-through route to get to Roland, to get back up to Crosstown, I'm not sure you can get down to 494, but you can get up to Well, you can get from,
Get on Crosstown at Roland.
can you take Roland to another connection onto
You have to go
Crosstown?
way north, and then you
Not
have to come
very
back.
easily.
Yeah.
There's no really good route.
You know, and in truth, then it may not be an issue. There, right now, it may be a fear that never materializes. But I guess I'd still like to see us
Monitor it.
be sensitive that if for some reason Cherokee Road traffic really does pick up, then somebody's using it to find cut-throughs or something. They had a little tiny issue that there's a sign that says to get to Bryant Lake Park, and I think it's down on Shady Oak, or maybe when you turn onto the road where the gas station is, but it's covered with trees, and so people don't know that until they're cutting through Cherokee to get up to the park. So that's just a little side concern that they have with Cherokee. So I think we just ought to pay really close attention to the Cherokee Road issue. And then the third that came up really a lot tonight was the landscaping piece. And I guess my questions really center around what authority do we have? And money clearly comes from the state. But we are the, what do you call it, the contractors of the project, or I don't know what, or the overseers of the project. So I don't know what authority we have in terms of divvying out the current budget for landscaping and where it would go. Do we have decision-making powers in that? And if not, then that's one thing. If we do, then that's another thing. But if we don't, maybe there's city money also that it's, and maybe a small amounts that we could support the efforts that are going on with the county money that's coming in. So their concerns are obviously to replace trees on the west side and particularly around the wetland and make sure that that's done well. And I think we're going to probably do that anyway, but I think that would be a good thing, again, to benchmark into our minutes. And again, anybody, staff or anybody can piggyback on what I'm saying. There are issues on the, that kind of tied into air quality, but I think that's just going to be an issue that's a little bit outside our control, but certainly we can get as many trees in as possible. And then they brought up this fence idea, and I just don't know what our authority is, again, if there's a chain link fence versus some type of a more secure, solid kind of fence that would catch debris that would go into the wetland and also potentially block sound a little bit more for the neighbors up the hill. So I don't know what authority we have in that, or if that's a already done decision. So I just, again, Janet, I guess that's you probably, but just to find out a little bit more about that, and at the very least maybe keep responding back to the neighborhood, keep going back through Stacy or Corinne or somebody. And then this noticing piece, this isn't the first time. Some of us have been, well, all of us I think have been on the council a while, but some of us have been on a long time. And I know that occasionally that 500-foot rule gets in the way of, I'm not blaming anybody here, but some common sense. I mean, clearly if you go out 500 and there's barely any houses, but then you go out 750 and you pick up a whole neighborhood, and there's some sense that they didn't get noticed enough or far enough deeper in, and clearly we all heard that tonight, and I would say I would just really encourage staff that next time, whatever it takes to pick up the Cherokee Street in totality, and I don't know enough that maybe we did, and whatever. In the future, just we'll if we can make sure that as much of that area gets picked up, because a 15-story building, if indeed this comes back in some way, and I'm not sure at this point what comes back and when and how it looks or what control we have ever again. Now we've approved, some large pieces of the project, but the 15-story building impacts a lot more than 500 feet, and so I mean at that point let's just pick up that neighborhood. I think that's the 5 that I got from the neighborhood meeting. I don't know if we heard anything else tonight.
That's the streetscape quality.
Well, that
was a little bit the trees.
Streetscape is yeah, and some of that's the landscape block and all that, and that's true. That was more of an aesthetic kind of thing, and again, I don't know what control we have, and if we do, maybe at that point the recommendation to staff is why don't we go through some of these neighbors that came tonight, and if there's a committee input process or anything where we could pull them in for even one meeting, I think, to make people feel they were engaged and heard. Maybe there's a place in that landscaping process that even one meeting we pull them in.
If it's not already too far down the
If it's not
line.
already, or if it's out of our jurisdictional control.
Mr. Getchell, you had your light on.
Thanks, Mayor. I think this is an opportunity for us to maybe give some background and feedback on this issue tonight. And obviously, there are several that you brought up that we have in the minutes and that we will follow up with. So at least with numbers 1 and 2 with the Crosstown and other state highways and roads. We can communicate with those jurisdictions, and we will. And then with the Cherokee Road issues with cut-through traffic, I will talk to the police department, and it's something that we'll keep an eye on and that we can watch. As it relates to landscaping, fencing, issues related with the watershed district, because this did go through that body on quite a few occasions to get approval, and issues with meetings, and we can meet. We have met with some of these folks, and we'll continue to meet with them, and we'll meet with them again. But I think Mr. Ellis can address issues related to landscaping and streetscaping and where we started and where we are and where we could go.
Mr. Ellis, do you have anything to add? You did have your light on at one point.
Yes, and I can give a little bit of a background on the public input process for this road reconstruction and what we're doing as far as landscaping, how we're incorporating some of the feedback we've received. We've actually had 2 open houses where we've invited the public to come in and take a look at the plan. And, am I on? Try to speak a little closer to it, I guess. And so we have had 2 open houses, and we've had, our most recent open house was August 22nd. We had 52 people in attendance, and we received actually only 11 comment cards back, feedback from the project. And of those 11, I believe 4 were related to landscaping. One of them really liked the landscaping plan that we had laid out, and then we had 3, I think they were in the audience tonight, Corinne, Stacy Bettison, and then her daughter commented that they wanted to see more landscaping, something different than what was done in Minnetonka. And when this project first begun, because this is a county roadway, crosses a state highway, we actually put together a technical panel made up of the City of Minnetonka, City of Eden Prairie, the county, and also the state, just to help guide the design of this project. And the decision was made early on that regionally, we wanted to keep the look of the corridor similar from Minnetonka into Eden Prairie. So that's where the design of the landscaping, that decision was made. And the landscaping plan that you have in front of you probably shows it best, but we're putting in, within the median, some brick pavers. We're also doing some grass vegetation, some bush vegetation within the median. Number of trees, I think we have over 200 trees that are being planted along the corridor. And what's not shown on here is all of the landscaping that UHG is doing. They're investing a lot of money, a lot of trees, a lot of softscaping onto their campus. It's not shown on this picture, but I think it'll help with the look of the corridor. We're actually putting in 2 benches along the trail for people to stop and rest at key locations. And then actually with some comments that we've been receiving, because we have been corresponding with Stacy quite frequently, even several emails today, and she's actually asked that we look at putting in purple coneflower and Russian sage to provide some color to the corridor. And we've spoken with our landscape architect, and they believe that that is the type of vegetation that would survive in this environment. So we will be incorporating that into the plans. And also, she's made some requests for additional trees along the wetland and on the trail, and we will do that with this project. So we are trying to take that feedback and incorporate it into the plans. I think there are some that would probably like to see landscaping in the form of irrigation, annual flowers, and maybe to a level that we really aren't looking at on this corridor, just because of it's a difficult area to maintain for our personnel to go out and do sprinkler blowouts in the median, to re-energize the system in the early spring and just do the maintenance. I don't know that that's the type of landscaping we want to have along this corridor, because I don't know how well it would survive, and I don't know how easy it would be for us to maintain. But we are putting in some drought-tolerant species within the median along the right-of-way, and I think that we are trying to make it aesthetically pleasing. So I think in the end, the corridor will look nice. One other idea that has come up through the public input process, I think from Stacy as well, is doing some type of landscaping on the old Shady Oak Road. That's the road that comes off of Super America and goes into that subdivision back there. There's 2 existing medians right now. They just have grass in them. Maybe we could put some bushes, some flowers, do some more colorful type of landscaping. So that is something that I think would help the neighborhood, provide an amenity, and again, just allow them to have some participation in the final design of the project. So we are trying to work and reach out to the people that have expressed an interest in the project, and trying to accommodate some of their needs, but quite honestly, There are some that I just don't feel that it would be appropriate along this corridor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Councilmember Nelson.
Yeah, one quick question to that is, have we considered, obviously Roland Road, I believe, is one of ours. And so something make the look go from very busy street and commercial to more residential right as you go, into what's actually a Eden Prairie residential road. Is that something that we've considered at all? I don't know if you would have to do that much, but sometimes you can visually do a little something that says the world is changing here.
From an aesthetic standpoint, no, we haven't looked at Roland Road. I will say from a traffic engineering standpoint, we've had cat-like reflexes, contrary to the comment earlier tonight.
Well, I would encourage us to see if we could do something, aesthetically in there a little bit too, be it with some trees or some little bit of tree and bush there, just where you can make it a break from type, perhaps, or get some input from them to see if they think that would make any difference or not. Since we can't really do the others, though I appreciate the cat-like reflexes on the traffic, certainly. But maybe what we need is catnip at the end of the district. But that might be something to look into down the road to see if it would fit with our city budget as well.
Certainly.
All right. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Case?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, I had a few things I wanted to bring up. Thanks, first of all, to all the high school students that came tonight. You have the pleasure of coming to an extremely short council meeting. I'm sure that wasn't planned, but generally these last at least an hour. This is a quick one tonight. The first thing I have to talk about has to do with the public in general, but also specifically the council and staff. You've gotten notices from our local Metropolitan Council representatives about their upcoming meetings called Thrive MSP 2040. And just as cities have to do comprehensive plans every 10 years, so does the Metropolitan Council. So this is a part of their process for helping them come up with their next framework for how they're going to move our region ahead and keep the region economically strong and a great place for opportunities for residents within the region. So these listening sessions are going to be held over the course of the next few weeks. Actually, 4 of the 10 listening sessions have already been held. The 2 that are closest to us are next Tuesday, the 25th, at Chanhassen Library from 5 to 7, and next Thursday, September 27th, at Valley View Middle School in Edina from 7 to 9, so 2 hours later. Those are the 2 closest to us, and I know I'm going to the one on Tuesday, September 25th in Chanhassen. Hopefully some of you can come to a listening session yourself. But it's our opportunity to weigh in on such things as how we want transit to look in our community in 2040. Do you want Southwest to be there in addition to light rail? Well, we need to make sure that we speak up and get that into that framework so it happens. Issues of affordable housing, issues of wastewater management, what else do they do? Parks, anything like that. It's our opportunity to get that information into their framework for MSP 2040. So I wanted to bring that up, and then I just wanted to highlight 3 upcoming events within the city of Eden Prairie. And we always have things going on in the city. It's just amazing how in the next couple of weeks there are a lot of things going on. The first thing that's coming up is the collection of one-act plays put on by Eden Prairie Players. And my husband and I went to this last year, and we were just very impressed with the quality of the performances, and it was just a really, really fun event. The one-acts are done at the Riley Jakes Barn. They start this Friday and Saturday night, and then for the 2 weekends after that, also on Friday and Saturday nights at 7:30. On Sunday, October 7th, they have a 2 p.m. performance. The tickets are $13 in advance, $15 at the door. It's very much worth it, and they have refreshments. It's a wonderful environment to be seeing these plays in the barn. The performance this Friday night, if any of you high school kids are interested, is pay what you can night. So you can't make reservations. You can just come, and you don't have to pay $13 or $15. You can pay whatever you can afford. So that's something wonderful that's coming up. And some of the plays are there's even a play written by a doctor who happens to live in our community. Then the other thing is the art crawl, which is September 29th and 30th. And there's information on the city website about the art crawl. You get an opportunity to go into the homes of many of the artists within the city of Eden Prairie and see what they're doing. I think their items are for sale generally too, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's coming up. And then finally, the Heritage Celebration, which is held at Riley Lake Park. That's on September 30th, and we were going to check the time on that. I'm sure it's on our website. I was hoping to be able to mention it tonight, but I forgot to pull that information out. But that's
Mayor,
the
yeah, I
third one.
believe it's kind of a late morning into the early afternoon, so it's either a 10 to 2, 12 to 4 time frame, which crosses over a little bit with the art crawl on the second day.
Yeah, and this is a great event, too, the Heritage Celebration. There are people dressed in costume for the period. You get an opportunity to go into the Dorenkemper House, which is really interesting to see what a old Eden Prairie house looked like. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of those events. And is that free, do you know? Yeah. The Heritage event is free. So 3 fun things to do in Eden Prairie in the next few weeks. Anything else? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
Steward. If you have ideas about how the city can achieve this goal, please send them to energy